Hello. How's everybody doing today? I hope everyone's doing well. And if you are trying to figure out why you are looking at me right now or who the heck this woman is that's appeared on your screen and has been suggested to you by YouTube, it is I. My name is Yolanda. I am locating cozy, and this is a broad chat. So, guys, thank you for joining today. This is a bit different because I am doing a family broad chat, a broad chat with family today, and this is really important to me. This has been a work in progress. So, but right now, I want to go ahead and bring on my life sister, my sister-in-law, Rhonda. How are you doing? Oh, we need to update your name, girl. Okay, hold on.
I'm doing great.
Hold on. I need to fix this. We keep it real. We do real talk here, so it's no big deal. But yes, that's your handle, right? Yeah. Okay. Here we go. And
Mhm.
there we go. Now, hello, Rhonda. How you doing, love?
I'm great. How are
So
you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm in Madrid right now, enjoying the pet sit. I had to take the dog out right before we actually started this recording. I took the dog out for a hot second, and then I fed her, and she was in the background chomping. And I'm like, you know what? Let me before we start recording, let me make sure she's finished. So during when people are listening later on, they're not hearing a bunch of crunching of dog food in the background. So,
The
hey,
joys
Rhonda,
of being a dog owner or pet sitter.
This is
That's
how we
life.
roll.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
life be
life.
happening. Yes, and stuff. But yeah, but so the dog is taken care of. I'm here in Madrid, all is well. So usually I start out asking like what's going on in your world, and I'll just share. Yeah, that's where I am right now. I'm in Madrid. And later on, I'm actually going to an event this evening for the Internations. They're having some kind of meetup. So we'll see how it goes.
All right.
What's going on in your world, Rhonda?
Right now, I am just trying to finish school. I started nail tech school in January.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be completed with this course in August. And during
Okay.
this course, I decided that I wanted to go a little further with the training and become a medical nail tech. So I'll be
What is
going a
that?
little further. It's actually a nail technician that's able to work on people that have like diabetes. They need more specialized
Oh.
nail and foot care.
Okay. Well, that's I had no idea. I had no idea, and that's pretty cool. Just because, a nail tech will just be like, "I got you, girl." It's all feet are the same. No, they're not.
No, they're not. Some people don't even get their nails and their feet done because it could cause them to have an infection or something is serious for them. So
Yeah,
they just
I
don't
can't
get
even
it done.
chance it.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay. Okay. And so how much longer will that be? Like with once you finish and go on to the next step, how much longer will it be?
I still have to investigate how I want to do it. I think you can go through a training through a school, or you can also do like an apprenticeship under a
Okay.
podiatrist. So I still have to do a little investigating to find out how I want to go about it.
On your niche, that's your market.
Yeah,
Yes, because a lot of
and
people
and
don't think
since
about it.
my initially what I wanted to do was become a nurse, at a
Mm.
younger age. So this kind of binds the two,
Oh wow!
you know. Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Thank
I'm
you.
excited for you, and I'm proud of you. So
So
please
right,
do share. Yeah, what have you done that's about you that, big or small, something that you've done recently that has made you feel good about yourself and brought you joy?
actually just pursuing, something, making a decision to pursue something to better my life, that made me feel more secure. So that helped a lot. And I tried to rest a lot more. Because I have been a little bit more busy. Resting helps. I love watching comedy. So that helps, keeps me laughing. Yesterday I actually just took a bus from Houston to Livingston and went to the casino for the day.
Okay. How long is the
So
bus? How long is the bus ride? I'm not a casino person, but
the bus
I know.
ride was about maybe an hour and 45 minutes because they have
Oh,
like a
okay.
few stops that they make in between Houston and Livingston.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not a casino person, but I know Houston has access. to
Yes.
go, for your day trips. Yes.
I basically just wanted to get away and not have to drive myself. So that was
Yeah.
perfect.
You're like, yeah, I'm just gonna get on the bus and not think about it. And that's what I like about off topic, on topic. I appreciate not having a car anymore and just being able to, like, I'm just gonna take the tram or the train or whatever, and I don't have to worry about getting in, driving anywhere. And people are like,
Right.
oh, but you should get a car once you get settled. No, I'm not. I don't want to. Okay. This is not
Yeah.
for me.
It feels good to just let somebody else take care of that part.
Yes. It's like, oh, just that freedom. And it's like, God, you got it. This person's driving the train or whatever, the bus driver got it and stuff. Take care of him and stuff. I'm going to take a nap. Okay.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
How am I locating my cozy? I sometimes am prepared. I ask this question all the time, but sometimes I'm not prepared to answer. But one thing that I did today, just before we got on this call, I got an inquiry through I'm on an assignment right now, and the recruiter knows that this assignment is ending. And he was like, I have another one for you. How soon can you start? And I stepped up and spoke for myself today. And I said, I need 3 weeks in between. Because he was like, well, we need you to actually start, right away. So, yeah, he was like, oh, we really need you to start on this next assignment right away. And I had to tell him no. I was like, what? I had said I have people coming in. And the thing was, I had actually said to him a couple of weeks ago when I knew this assignment was ending, I said, I'm open and I'm ready for my next assignment, but I do need some time in between. So I would not want to start anything else. I think I want to take April, or at least 3 weeks in April before I start. I want to wait until after the meetup here in Spain and then go on to the next one. And he acknowledged it. So when I brought it up now, he's like, oh, well, this client probably wants to start a little bit sooner and stuff. And I was like, well, maybe I need to wait. And that was a hard thing to say.
Yeah.
It was a hard thing to say because, I don't have anything else lined up right now. But I'm like, you're okay. And you need to take time for yourself and make sure that you're not just jumping into something else really fast. So that was hard. Yeah. But I'm proud of myself.
I'm proud of you.
But the thing is, I do have a record with them with this company with a recruiter. So I've done like 2 other assignments with them before. So if he wants me, he'll hold them off.
Now that shows me that you've grown from the job that you were on before you decided to take this course, and how they used to push you to do things that you really didn't want to do. And you would just go like, okay, let me just do this, and I'll be done, and everything will be okay. And then after a while, it took such an effect on me.
I was living for that job, and there was no return. Yes. I was absolutely living. I'm like, oh, you're stressed out. It's okay. They're paying you good money, girl. You will be stressed out as much as they need you to be. You can
not
take
worth it. It's not
girl,
worth
it's
it.
not.
And I'm glad that you have learned how to say no.
Oh, thank you. That makes me feel good. That's why I brought her on, y'all. Yes. So yeah, that's how I'm locating my cozy, learning to say no. And even, even with this current assignment coming up and it's ending, and I had a great experience, but yeah, I need some time before I go on to the next one.
The opportunity will come again from that source. Because you're worth it.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. She's my therapy session. Okay. So Rhonda, let me ask you, please do, for people that don't know, they don't know you. Rhonda is in Houston. She is family. She was married to a person that shall not be named. That's in my family, and she got me, and I got her on the divorce side. So on the other side of that. So yes, and we've been friends for life sisters and friends for well over 30.
Oh wow, about 30.
Yeah, because I'm doing my counting and stuff. It's like, maybe a little bit. Yeah, coming up on 30 years. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's just the bottom line.
Yeah.
It's just, but can you give us a little bit? Tell us a little bit about you.
I have worked as an administrative assistant for most of my life until I became ill with fibromyalgia in 2008 and had to stop working. And then shortly after, really not long after, getting myself to be a little bit better, my family started to decline, and I ended up having to take care of all of my family members, which I have been doing pretty much until last year, after losing my household member.
Yeah.
So since then, I have been trying to find myself, stay afloat, not drown in grief, and basically revamp my life. And I'm almost 60 now, so it hasn't been easy, but it's been fun, learning a new me.
Oh, you ain't almost 60. You just 55. What?
I'm almost 60.
That doesn't seem real. We're just a few months apart in age. So, but it's like, I don't know. It's like, I'm not quite, we just turned 55. So I'm like, no, we're not almost 60. We're almost 50.
Yeah. Put it on the younger spectrum, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess once we hit 56, I'll be like, yeah, we're almost 60. But for some reason, my brain is not computing that 60. You're closer to 60 than to 40. Okay.
Yes.
So you have been the caregiver for a lot of family members, and we're going to go into that in a little bit. But you've definitely been the caregiver to take care of and give the best care for mother, husband, children, your dad, years earlier. And I admire you, and I'm so proud. I knew that you were taking on a lot of hard, emotional, mentally draining tasks to care for them, and then also trying your best to take care of yourself. And what happens is you put yourself on the back burner a lot of the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'm gonna jump around a little bit in this interview because I want to talk about some of the great joy, some of the great experiences, some of our great experiences together, and just try to talk through. I want to share this because you're not alone. A lot of times when we're talking in this community of people that are like, leaving that toxic situation, it consists of them leaving the job, which I'm thankful that I was able to do, moving to another country or moving to another part of the city or another part of this United States. Right now, everybody's trying to get to Mexico. But the journey looks different for different people. And so on my channel, on Locating Cozy, on a broad chat here, one of the things I said is I don't want to just interview people or talk to Black women that have already made whatever their exit to whatever their new journey, their new path is. I want to talk to people that are going through the journey now and just kind of like weaving their way through and making the best decisions possible to come out better on the other side. So with that, can you, well, let's start here. We've known each other. You're from Houston. I'm from Houston, home sweet home. But I was like, you need to get your passport and come here. And you were like, I got my passport. I was like, you have got
and
to
I'm
come
ready.
Here. Yes. I literally told Rhonda, I was like, all I need to know is when you're available, and I'm going to take care. There's certain family members that I'm like, you coming? You just let me know when you're available, and I'm going to make sure it happens. And that's what it was for Rhonda to get here, because I just wanted to spoil her. I wanted her to relax, and wherever she is at this point in life, I just wanted her to be able to relax. And this isn't the first time.
Much needed.
Yes,
it was much needed at that time. Yes.
Yes. But let me just go back a little bit, because I remember I think one of my birthdays years ago when one of her friends, Lisa, had that condo down in Galveston. It was this gorgeous condo, and we were like, it was a girls' weekend thing, and I was like, I'm about to get lit. Where's got my liquor, and we're gonna go here and there, just like in the condo area. It was so nice. And Rhonda drove down to Galveston and went in the room and stayed in that room, and we didn't see her for like 36 hours.
Yeah, almost 2 days I slept.
Yes. And it was just because I remember my girlfriends, they were like, where's your sister-in-law at? And I was like, don't worry, she's good. She needed this, absolutely needed this. And yeah, we didn't see you for like a good 36, almost 2 days that we did not see Rhonda. And when she came out, she was like, okay. I mean, she only had one more day left, but it was like,
let's do this.
Needed.
Sometimes life does that to you. It'll just wipe you out, and you need a reset.
Absolutely. And it's so important that just because the people, your surrounding says, oh, this is how we're going to do our vacation. This is how we're going to do it here. You can still go on that vacation and be like, well, y'all can do it that way, but this is how I'm going to spend my time and my replenishing.
Exactly. I'll catch up with you guys when I do what I need to do.
Yes, exactly. And then when for my 50th birthday, we went to Vegas, and that was really cool because Rhonda and her daughter, they got there, and here's the thing. I was having major knee problems, and I should have been on the freaking scooter because they both got scooters to go traipsing around Vegas. I was being vain, and I was like, I'm not getting on no scooter. In the meantime, my knee is the size of a freaking like football. It was huge. Well, maybe a baseball, but it was huge and swollen and warm, and I was just limping and trying to walk cute and suffering. Meanwhile, Rhonda and her daughter,
I'm zooming by on my little scooter,
just gone. like, well, what time are y'all? The whole thing was for that Vegas trip. It was like, we don't need to be together the whole time. Go do your own thing. We had specific times that we were all going to get together, like for a dinner and for like one of the shows. We were going. Otherwise, we'll see you when we see you. And we didn't see Rhonda and Sean at all. They were gone on their scooters.
Yes. Once we found the scooters, we were gone. Yes.
And comfortable and not in as much pain because they weren't trying to show out and walk everywhere like me.
Right.
They were happy. So yeah, this trip in October, I had a meetup in October, and I was like, okay, well, this is where I want Rhonda to, come. If she can get off, she can get the time off. This is when it's happening. And so you came to Spain.
Yes.
It was amazing, but it didn't start out that way.
The trip out there was a little frustrating. To get there, it was a little frustrating with the airline situation, but it was so worth it. Very much so worth it.
There was no complaining. It was like for every challenge that happened, it was like, okay, girl, let's work it out. You're gonna get here.
Yeah. All I cared about was getting there. I didn't care about anything else. And then once I got there, I didn't have luggage.
They lost her luggage.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I'm here.
They lost her
luggage.
That was
the objective. Yes.
Well, the first flight, first of all, the flight coming just from Houston to Dallas, because now understand, Rhonda said, I'll just drive up to Dallas and catch a flight directly into Madrid. And I was like, okay, but I wanted to make it as easy as possible. And I was like, no, I'll just make sure that she has a flight that's coming from Houston to Dallas and then Dallas to Madrid. That first flight from Houston to Dallas was like, no, it's not happening.
Yeah.
It's like a 45-minute flight. And that was the first part. Yeah. So yeah, then she finally got here via Heathrow. Got here. Yeah. And I'm talking to her and she's like, I haven't come out yet because they can't find your luggage. And they tried. And then there was a language issue also.
Very much so a language issue. But it ended up that the luggage had never arrived in the first place. It had never left Houston.
Never left Houston. No. So then we're like, okay, well, let's just go ahead and, we're going to worry about that later. It's like, we got clothes. There's stores here. We're going to work that out. Go out there. I'm looking for her. We're in two completely different parts of the airport. Okay.
Everything that could go wrong went wrong.
Girl. Two completely different parts, like I think it's like a 15-20 minute drive away from where the terminals that we were at. Okay, because I came there to pick her up in the cab because I wanted to make it as easy for her as possible. Yeah, and she wasn't even where I was at. So anyways, we finally got together. I was just, I show when people come here to Spain, I'm like, I want to show you the world. I want to, I'm so excited to have people there. What was your first, after we got settled and you got a good night's rest? What was your first, or even like that first night? Because I think that first night we did go to El Corte Inglés. What were your first thoughts?
I was intrigued, first of all, with the buildings, the building structures, and the landscape. Yeah. So just leaving the airport, I think I was looking like a big kid, in the back of the Uber, looking at everything with my mouth wide open, like, oh, that's so pretty, and I loved seeing how everyone was so friendly. And even though it was a barrier with the the language, you still felt the warmth, so
Yeah.
that's what I remember the most.
And it's good to hear that. And for some people, it can still be very, very uncomfortable. But once you get here and you kind of realize it's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
they're nice. They're not like maybe in America where it's like speak Spanish. They're not doing
Not
that
at
like
all.
treating you because you don't speak the language. Yeah.
Not at all. I never experienced that at all.
It's and that's not to say that it doesn't exist. Not to say that there aren't some jerks or some assholes out there and stuff that are going to give you attitude. But as a whole, for me, I'll say a majority of the time, and what you're saying is for you, that was not an issue.
Not at all.
So what are like from the time that you arrived in Madrid and then we went on to Zaragoza, what are some of the activities that you did? Like, I mean, again, I know that that's one thing that when people say, what do you like about going to Madrid or Sevilla or whatever, the architecture, it gets me every time. It's just beautiful.
And then we went on the tour,
the Black History tour. Yeah.
The Black History tour, and what I learned on that tour was amazing. Because I've always been in the U.S. I've never left the U.S. before. I never really thought about the history of Blacks in other countries. Especially a country like that, it never even dawned on me that it would have such a rich history in Black people. So just learning from that tour was amazing.
Yeah. I warn people that do the Black History tours especially in other countries, because a lot of times the history has been erased.
Rewritten.
Yeah. Well, they just, from what I understand here, they just kind of like they acknowledge it, but then they also like, well, we will never talk about that. They don't want to talk about it. It's like, we don't see that. No, it's not an issue. But you have to, I feel like you have to be a little aware that certain emotions can come up from the information that you're getting. Because I was a little like, oh, and then also like, what the fuck? Okay.
Yeah. And then learning how some of their history actually coincided and kind of made our history as well was very interesting. I mean, and when I say our, I mean in the US, how things kind of went from there to here. That was very interesting.
It's this is good to know, because the thing is, a lot of people don't know. People just assume that everybody knows about the world history overall. People assume that that everybody knows about the colonization in all the different countries. It didn't start in the US.
Right.
Yeah, it was I think probably the worst, or one of the worst colonization experiences and slave trade experiences. Don't get me wrong, and stuff. But then I can't talk about anybody else's history, like here in Spain or in Italy or in anywhere else in the world where there are Black people and where their history runs deep there. But the thing that it needs to be clear is that not everybody knows, and until you find out, you just don't know. Right. So and just like, it's not the same thing, but like how some older people, when I first got here in 2018, and maybe years earlier, when less Black people were coming to Spain to live, especially maybe somebody that wasn't coming directly from Africa to come here to live. So when you had more U.S. Black, American Blacks coming here to live, the older people here were looking at you like, what are you doing here? We're not understanding this. And so they try to treat you, and they do. They kind of look at you in a strange way, like, why are you here? Now, I don't get so much, I don't get so much looks anymore. But when I first came here in 2018 and going to Zaragoza, there were looks. So I can only imagine how it felt when Kayla came here in 2016 to Zaragoza. That Black people in the US, it's like, oh, you can do things. You can actually move to another country. Like, how can you afford this? How can you do this? Because what they see is on TV. They see Boys in the Hood. Yeah. They see they don't understand sometimes that we are growing that allows us to choose where we want to live, and we want to start taking advantage of that.
Right.
And building communities like in Zaragoza. That's why I started Black in Zaragoza, so that there might be a source for Black people along the complete diaspora to actually be able to communicate and share resources. Yeah, we are all learning. If you're open to it, we are all learning about the history of the world and how it affects and impacts people all around.
They're doing something to us over there that they shouldn't be doing, because this is very healthy. Just the difference in the orange soda that I found there and what I'm used to here was so much different that it really made me start thinking about what I eat and drink here. Okay. So I've actually started, eating more fresh food. Haven't gotten off those sodas yet, but I'm working on that.
Hey, we all have something.
That stays in the forefront of my mind. How much more healthy their food is than here.
I remember that because you were looking at that orange soda like, why does it look like orange juice? What's going on?
Yes, I was like, this is not soda, this is juice. Yeah, but that's because of the difference in the way it's made between here and there. And it's the same company, but
they have different rules and regulations here that they can't put that. Yeah,
exactly. And I remember being so excited. Being able to walk down the street and walk in any store and pick up fresh vegetables. Do you remember that?
Yes.
I was like, wow. I was like, look at this. This is.
We have the corner store. now understand, not all corner stores got the best, but they have a lot of the little markets and everything here.
Yeah, you can walk by a market and just go in and buy fresh vegetables. You don't find that here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you have to like go over off an airline or something like that to the.
You have to specifically find a market for vegetables and stuff like that. You have to look for it. There you didn't.
And the thing is, here they don't do. I mean, they have organic, but the food is good quality. So organic is not like a big push here.
Right.
Like, there's no Whole Foods that, what they call the whole paycheck, because there's no there's less pesticides or whatever. Right. The food is the food here.
Okay? Yeah. And I'm sure because of the regulations there that you really don't have to worry about all the pesticides and stuff like that, like you do here.
Yeah. They have very specific and stringent rules about what can be, on the food. One of the Kayla, before she moved here, and whenever she would come home, hot Cheetos. But they started making them here, and she was all excited, but they don't taste the same because, that food coloring number 9 and and whatever the preservatives, she was like, it doesn't taste the same. I don't like it now. I'm over hot Cheetos, but she's like, I miss all the junk that made it taste so good in the US.
Yeah, but that's the stuff we didn't need,
Yeah.
And imagine if we started out like them, not knowing that difference.
Yeah.
She probably loved the Cheetos there.
Yeah, but she knows the difference. She's like, no, preservatives are actually kind of, come in handy sometimes. But I say that jokingly because she is like, she's been here for 8 years now. So yeah, that's like, she goes back home to the States every now and then, and she's like, oh, this food is like not good for us at all. And we notice the difference.
Yes.
We notice the difference.
I remember she said something about chocolate too. It was a difference in the chocolate between here and there. She was mentioning something about that. And I was like, okay. I didn't really eat chocolate there, so I didn't notice the difference.
There is a difference in the quality. I'm not a big chocolate person, but there's these chocolate covered peanuts that they sell at the Mercadona here that I have become I had to wean myself off those dang peanuts. Oh my goodness. I've never been much of a peanut person in the States, but like they have these peanuts here at Mercadona and literally they have them in some other stores also, but I didn't like the quality, but the quality is so good. I could eat those like it's going out of style. Oh my
wow.
Goodness, bad. Yeah. So I have to there's some things that are great quality, but too much of anything can be bad.
Yes.
Okay. Too much of anything can be bad. It can be challenging. And you can still put weight on because I've definitely put some weight on stuff in here. It's happening with even without having a car and all that. What did you think about the tram and I guess the train, because you had never been on a train before, but
That
what did you
took
think
some getting used to for me.
Yeah.
For one, because of my disability, the fibromyalgia, walking more was, a little trying for me.
Yeah.
But I was surprised that it didn't affect me the way I thought it would, as bad as I thought it would. So it was kind of fun to me. And then being on the tram, I'm not a people person. I don't like being in close contact with people, and those trams can get kind of crowded. And I thought I was gonna pass out a couple of times.
Yeah.
But then by the time I left, I was used to
it. But no, Kayla and I just met up someplace, and she's been here for 8 years, and we met up for lunch or something like about a week or so ago, and she was on the tram. She was messaging me. She's like, "This is freaking horrible," because it was so packed on there, like your little sardine. Yeah. So a lot of people like Christine, who moved here. I forgot when she moved here in October of last year, and I think she said she's only been on the tram like maybe twice because she hates to get on there because it gets so crowded depending on where you're at. Yeah,
it can get very crowded. When I first got on it, I was like, "Oh my God, they're touching me," But by the time I left, it was like, "Okay, come on, sweetie, come on, move over here." So they can get on too. We can all get to where we're going, And I'm sure that's how everybody is there. They don't think
personal
about that.
Space is questionable sometimes on the tram.
Yeah.
So it's overwhelming. But I also like to walk. Getting around Zaragoza. Yeah, I don't mind walking to whatever events or get-togethers, or if I have to run errands or whatever, I'll enjoy. And I'll also jump in a cab if I need to. Okay, or an Uber. To get back.
So why won't you get like a scooter or a bicycle? I saw a lot of people with those.
Yeah, that's great for them. Yeah. I am not opposed to possibly getting a bike in the future, but right now I've been on a bike one time since I was 11 years old. And it wasn't pretty. So
okay.
So, maybe one day, they have I don't necessarily need to. I think before I actually invest in a bike or a scooter, I will get one of the little rentals that are all over and try it out. But for the most part, I'm going to walk because I'm scared I'm going to hit somebody or run out in front of somebody. Yeah. Oh, no. And they have bike lanes and all that stuff here. It's really great. And they have specific rules. Okay, let's talk about something else because it's not happening yet. Okay. So I didn't want to talk about but I'm so glad that you did make it to Spain. And I'm like, whenever you're ready to come back, because in my mind, I'm like, she gonna move here. That's not everybody's mission. I get that and stuff. But if she said, mind. Yeah.
Yes.
If Rhonda ever said I'm moving here, I'm making space because y'all know that I keep an extra bedroom. And if there was somebody else staying here, I'd be like, you got to go. Okay.
It's on the forefront of my mind. Yes.
Yeah, don't know why. I mean, I'm glad that you experienced it, but I know that right now times are challenging, and I know that we had talked last week about you looking at what Mexico options might look like.
Yes.
And what were your thoughts about that? What if you don't mind sharing?
Well, I don't know if it's just rhetoric here. I think we talked about that too.
Yeah.
Where we're being told here that it's not safe to go to Mexico right now because of what's going on in the U.S. with, so many people being, sent back and picked up and by ICE and everything. That people are having trouble actually in the U.S. That are from America. In Mexico, I mean, they're having trouble there. So I was thinking about it right now. I'm trying to find somewhere else.
Okay. You want to see what your options could possibly be.
Yes.
And so anybody that has that same interest, has the same concerns, there are YouTube videos out there by Black women that are talking, and I'm not going to sit up here. I'm in Spain. I'm not going to sit up here and say oh, it's completely safe. You need to go. I feel like based on the information that I'm getting from Black women that already are living there, that have already gotten their residency, that some, like there was a caravan of some that just got their residency last week. They went through San Diego, went there, and I guess were there for like a week or whatever, or two.
Mm-hmm.
And they just got their residency. And then they got their residency on a Thursday, the Women of Exodus Summit ASAP. They got their residency Thursday. That Thursday evening, the Mexican government said, no, we're changing the rules now. Now, understand, the rule that they changed was something that was going to be a lot easier, where you didn't have to show any kind of financial solvency. Okay. So there was one where you can go in and stay for like a week or whatever, or 2 weeks, or stay over by 7 days. There was like certain parameters and stuff, and you had to have visited Mexico like in before 2022 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then they just went and changed that and said that easy way of getting your visa, 5-year visa or 4-year visa, is no longer available.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Or we're going to make it harder for you to get it. So they put in more parameters about that. But I say all that because I know that people are interested. I'd say go check out the YouTube videos of other Black women. And I'm speaking to the Black women community right now. Okay. But whoever wants to, use this information, look at what they're experiencing, because they're talking to you and they're there. They're not like, here in the US, they're not in the US and never been to Mexico talking about don't do it, it's dangerous. This need to like see and hear from women that are actually experiencing it, have been there, have either lived there for a while, or are going through the whatever legal process to get their visas, or have stayed there for a short time, whatever it is. Please don't take advice or take the insight from somebody that ain't never been to Mexico.
Right.
And they're just looking at the news or whatever, salacious information that they're getting, that they're reading from some leak. Hear and get your insight from people that are on the ground there, that are telling you. There may be some bad situations going on. I'm not saying that it's all good, but at least get it from the horse's mouth, from the actual people that are there.
Yeah. I really would like to, just explore a little more and, visit some other places, which is something I've never been able to do. So
you could, where?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay. Well, we start just
some
with
places, some places that I've thought of going to, like Ghana. I don't think that's a good place to go now.
Why not?
Because I've been seeing stories about people of our color are going through some really ugly, terrible times there now.
So I'm going to make a recommendation. I think Awkward Black Nomad, she's actually doing a series right now. So I think she's done so far 5 interviews of Black women that are in Ghana, that are living not in Ghana, in Africa, different parts of Africa. Yes, Kyoka of Awkward Black Nomad, and also I'm going to put her link in the description below. But yeah, she interviews. She does exactly what I do, but she's more focused, and she's creates content. She's a copywriter person, so she's much better at interviews than I am. But I think she's interviewed so far 5 Black women that have gone to Ghana. I keep saying Ghana. Gone to Africa, whether it's South Africa, different parts, and talked about their experience. And they literally share the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like, so there's wonderful things that are great about it. And then there's some other things. There's visa concerns that you will have to look at, the culture, the infrastructure, all that. But she talks to people.
Sure, that's like everywhere you go. I mean, it's going to be some good, some bad. I mean, that's,
talking yourself out of it because somebody else said what it's like, that hasn't been there, can be of a detriment to your own experience and goals.
Well, my plan is to try to visit, not saying that I wouldn't go there. I was thinking in my mind to live there initially. That was just part of my thought pattern. What would it be like to live there? But now I just want to visit, to find out what it's about.
Yeah, you don't have to. The thing is, you don't have to. People think it's like, well, like if I came here to Spain and I'm like, okay, I visited Spain a few times before I decided to move here. So, for some people, they are comfortable just like saying, I'm going to pack up and I'm going to go to this other place. Some people go sight unseen, and I'm just going to go and do the process and find a place, and they'll stay for a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, whatever it is that they can do with their visa. And some people need to bop around to see what's going to work best for them.
Yeah.
Both are fine. Both options are fine. It's your journey. You pick it.
Right.
Okay? And so yeah, we don't want nobody to go someplace and be like, I don't like this, but I guess I'm here now.
No,
That's not how they work. Anyways, I definitely encourage people to look into it, find out, hear other people's stories about how they have chosen to figure out what they want to do.
Yeah.
Most
And I
definitely.
really haven't put a lot of focus into like trying to find somewhere because I know I'm not ready yet.
Yeah.
You know, first I have to get myself together here so that I can build myself up to go somewhere else.
I'm going to disagree with you just a little bit, because just because you're not ready to go anywhere, if you may not be ready to go across the street, but you can still get some information that can lead up to. So yeah, still start getting the information, seeing that you're not alone, that other people that look like you, that have some similar experiences, are out there talking about
that.
it.
That I am doing. I'm just saying I'm not focused on that.
Okay.
You know,
Fair
not
enough.
saying that I'm ready right now to do this and let me find out more. You know, I'm looking at little things here and making notes, you know, in my mind of, you know, but just to be my main focus, that's not it right now.
Got you. Oh, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, get it. I get it. So I wanted to go into talking about your you started raising chickens. You started a garden in your backyard where you were reaping the benefits of some beautiful food, some fresh vegetables, and just a beautiful experience. What encouraged you first to start a garden, and then what led up to the chickens?
I think it was actually during COVID that I decided that we needed to do that and become more prepared. And also in my area, we've lived through a lot of storms, and floods in my area here in Houston. So I just felt like I needed to start being more prepared for hard times, and be able to sustain myself if I wasn't able to go to a store and buy some. So I decided to, start gardening. Had never been able to grow a thing before in my life. I could never keep a house plant alive. But for some reason, once I made that decision to do it, and I just started, planting things, and everything grew beautifully. And I was amazed, and I was amazed at the taste different in the fresh vegetables versus the ones I purchased in the stores. I remember when I grew my first carrot and tasted those carrots, and I never really liked carrots, but I just grew them, so I would have some. But once I tasted them, I could not stop eating those carrots. They were delicious. I have never tasted a carrot like that in a store ever.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, totally different. Totally different. And they're smaller. When you grow your own food, stuff is not as big as you see it in these grocery stores. And I guess that's part of what, they're adding to it. But the flavor is so much better.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then I thought about the eggs. I remember the eggs had gone up extremely high, and we were having a hard time with the chickens or something. And so I just said, let me get some chickens so I can have eggs. And I got babies. I raised them up and started having eggs. And I still have my chickens right now. As a matter of fact, I just hatched two about 2 weeks ago in an incubator.
Yes. Oh, I was shocked when I saw this. She really, she has eggs. I mean, she has because I've seen it on social media where they have the little incubators and stuff, and I was like, well, that's interesting. And then my next conversation with Rhonda, so she's like, yes, I just hatched my own eggs, my own chicks. I was like, oh my gosh,
beautiful little baby. Yeah.
They're still inside?
Yes, they're still inside.
Oh wow. Okay. And you have to do that. So when you do that, that is to create. How old do chickens? I don't know. How long do chickens live? How old do they get?
It varies depending on the breed of them and the health.
Mm-hmm.
Just like
Okay.
humans. But when they get about, I guess maybe 6 weeks, you can start, kind of letting them go outside a bit to get used to the outside temp.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just take them out all at once and put them out there when they've been
Inside.
inside like that. You got to
Okay.
get them used to it a little bit at a time, a little bit more time, and a little bit more time, and then after a while they'll be able to stay out. Now I did have the experience before these two. One of my hens had gone broody, and she sat on several eggs, and she hatched one.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is my first time having chickens, so I wasn't aware of what I really needed to do, but I was so excited to go out and find a baby chick.
Oh,
So
wow.
yes, I was very excited, and so I was like, "Oh wow, I have a new baby!" I took a little picture of the thing, and then I went out the next day, no baby chick.
Oh.
Then I learned that I have another hen that's really, they have a hierarchy called a
Okay.
pecking order,
Yeah.
and that I have one particular hen that she'll peck anything that's
Oh, okay.
beneath her. So I think maybe she took out my baby, my baby chick.
Oh,
So
okay.
I decided, okay, well, I'll just have to hatch them, myself inside.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
So now you have the incubator, you have two. And so if you're trying to grow, how many are you trying to possibly
I
have?
have 7 more eggs waiting to hatch.
Okay. I can't
Hmm.
imagine. It's just so funny just to see that on social media. And it's like, and then you have your whole setup and you're
Yeah.
like taking care of them and bring them up. And like, how
Hmm.
many eggs a day are you getting right now?
Each hen gives you 1 egg a day. So right now I only have 3 hens. So I
Okay.
get 3 eggs a day. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long do
And
they
of course,
last? Like in order to
the
eat them?
eggs,
How long
um,
the eggs?
well, it's different ways you can store your eggs, and they can last up to 2 or 3 years. I water glass some, and
Okay.
you can use them 2 or 3 years down the line.
You seen that? I think because I know you, I swear, because I wasn't looking for this, but I swear, I think just because I know you by association, they're like, Rhonda likes this, you'll like it too. Because I've seen that thing where they've like put the eggs in the jar and you can like keep them for years or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have
I wasn't looking.
5-gallon buckets that I do like that.
Wow. Okay.
Hmm.
That's crazy.
Hmm.
So you said earlier before we went on, you said that you hadn't been growing vegetables. How long has it been since that you've grown vegetables or grown
It's
food?
probably been, I don't think I grew anything last year. Well, not I have trees. I have fruit trees. But as
Okay.
far as planting things like I used to do, bell peppers, tomatoes, greens, okra, stuff like that, I haven't done in probably about a year, I guess, because we had like a really harsh summer that
Mm-hmm.
took out everything, and then followed by a really harsh winter that took out everything else, and so I just never recouped from that.
Okay.
Because
Okay. I remember when you used to
also
post all the pics.
yeah, I was going through, taking care of family at the same time, so
Yeah.
I had to juggle the two and then let one go. So now I have the time to start regardening again.
Okay. So I wanted to also ask you, like in my journey, y'all know, okay, so I, moved to Dallas, was in Dallas for a year, and then I decided to give up my apartment and pet sit full time and just give away all my stuff. And then a year and a half later, I was like, okay, and now I'm moving to Spain. You know me for almost 30 years. What was your initial take on some of my choices? Okay.
Well, for a minute there, I thought you were losing your daggone mind. What's wrong with her? And then after a while, I was like, okay, this is good for her, And I was like, shoot, I might have to follow her crazy. Yeah,
I like her
but
type of crazy.
yeah, I like that kind of, yeah, that's working out pretty good. And then once you start telling me about, what you were doing and kind of why you were doing, like when you were giving away your stuff and getting rid of your place, I was like, why are you doing that? because that could have been a whole different way of thinking for some people. Some people do
Yeah.
that for totally different reasons.
Yes.
And so I was like, hey, what's going on? And but once I talked to you and found out why you were doing that, and
Yeah.
but do you notice, or did you notice that I did call you a lot more during the times to make sure that okay, everything's copacetic. She's good.
I wasn't running away to join a cult or, giving away all
Right,
my finances. No, I wasn't doing,
right,
no, I wasn't giving away money. I was giving
yeah,
away,
yeah,
no, I wasn't giving away no money. Okay. I
no,
got rid of a
no,
lot of things, not the money. Okay.
yeah.
And stuff.
So
But,
yeah,
but also, you saw what I was going through with the job. I
yes.
didn't know. And then earlier that year, I had lost my mother.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess, looking back on, with somebody that knows me or probably was like, what the hell is wrong with this girl? Okay.
Yeah. I had to make sure that it was coming from a good place.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And stuff. But it was something that was exciting, and people have asked me, they were like, what did your family say? And like, whether or not y'all thought I was crazy, that's okay. Y'all were always supportive. You were always supportive. Now she may have picked up the phone and been like, I don't know, I might have to call her daughter and see what's going on.
No, what I used to do was ask you all the time, okay, so when are you coming back to Houston? Because at that time you would come back and forth to Houston pretty regular. So I was making sure that when you came to Houston, I wanted to see you.
Yeah.
I felt like if I saw you, I would know better how you really were.
And I was fine. I mean, pet sitting for a year and a half straight, not having your own place, it was weird. It was weird. That became my new norm. But again, for me, I was like, the benefits were like, girl, you ain't paying no rent.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't, it's like that I was still, and I was working, and the money that I had, my financial resources were mine, and I wasn't paying into somebody else's stuff. So I was feeling the recovery from, because what happens is, great job, thank you for the paycheck, all that stuff. Still, when sometimes you could be making all the money and still be broke or still be struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I was doing better as far as maybe because Rhonda and me, when I was really like, we were living like real hand to mouth, like robbing from Peter to pay Paul. And we were in survival mode, make no mistake. So to be at a certain point, to be more financially secure, but still paying, almost $2,000 a month in rent. I'm like, to be able to put that money aside and to use it in a different capacity was wonderful. Absolutely. For me to still be working and just like having somebody else pay for my internet access and all that while I'm taking care of the pets was wonderful. It was something that probably nobody expected, but it felt like I was getting all the support, and I want to thank you for that. I want to. Because you out here at your stress level. So, instead of me trying to find a doctor to go on more medication, I was like, how about we rethink this? When I started doing the research, and I'm like, there might be a way that I can actually live and not live in total chaos and anxiety and high blood pressure all the time. And I can reduce stress and still save money. Yes, yes, please. Yeah. So all that to say is some people will have family members or friends that really do care about you, that will be concerned. And you don't have to prove anything to anyone, but also just know that the people that really love you and care for you, they're not trying to most of them are not trying to tear you down. They want to be supportive, but they also want to know that you're okay. So just give them the information.
And it helped. Yeah, it helped because you would answer my questions when I would ask you, why are you doing this? It helped that you talked us through it as you were doing it. So we kind of understood. As you took your journey, you walked us through it with you.
Mm-hmm.
So that helped. So, so if anybody else is experiencing that, then that's probably what would help them too.
Yes. If you are a family member that has or a family member or friend that has somebody in your life that is looking to make changes, whether they want to move to another country or just change, change whatever that's not making them happy, ask them questions, in love, not in you shouldn't do that because society
Judgment.
says that
Don't
you shouldn't.
judge.
Yeah. And so ask in love, and you hopefully will get the response and get the feedback in love also. But yeah, if you coming at your family or friend like, oh girl, I heard that you should. Who you hear? Who you talking to?
Yeah.
What I say? Oh, who the hell is they? They said, no, I don't want to hear about what they said. Okay. Don't want to give me some reputable feedback. If you have any kind of concerns, most likely that person in your life is still going to do whatever they want to do. That it should not be your goal to talk them out of it, as long as they're not, like not joining a cult and giving away all their money.
Okay. Right. Yes. Now I know my journey with you, as you went through your journey, was it started off as, what is wrong with her? Is she okay? To, ooh, I like what she did. I'm jealous. It's just be there. Just watch from a distance. Don't judge.
Yeah.
Everybody's journey is different anyway.
Exactly.
Everybody doesn't do things the same.
It is, because I've had that part too. I've had a lot of people like, I cannot believe you're doing that. I could never say never. I thought I could never.
Right.
I thought there's no way in hell. Why on earth would I think to even with my daughter who had left and moved to another country at that time, 6 years prior.
I remember how afraid you were, how nervous you were about making that move. And even then I was going, I hope she's gonna be okay.
Oh, when I left. Oh, okay.
Yeah, when you left. Yeah. You were really nervous, and you had some days where you kind of second guessed, if you were doing the right thing. But you did it. Yeah.
Yep. I just interviewed. Why am I thinking? I just interviewed a young lady named Teresa, who actually took like almost a year sabbatical. She left her job. She had sold her house, and she took 1 year and took like 20,000 of the proceeds from the sale of her house. And instead of buying another house, she was like, I'm going to take off for a year. And so and she traveled around Europe and Africa for a year. And I asked her, because she was one that was like also caregiver, worried about her kids. Like, I don't have a home for my kids. Kids are grown. She's like, but they still need to be able to come home if they need to. All of that, and then doing things for her mother who was not even in the same city. And I asked her, I said, did you feel guilt? And she says, I absolutely still felt guilt, and I still did it. Okay. I absolutely had all the doubt and the fear, and I still did it. Okay. And that's important. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay, because I'm telling you, I had a full meltdown like a week before I left and moved here. I had like a who do I think I am meltdown. Okay.
What am I doing?
Yes, girl. And I was like, and as I'm packing up my bag, I'm like, oh God, what am I doing? And stuff. I still was packing up my bag and leaving. Okay.
Yep. I remember all of that.
Oh my goodness. I wanted to go ahead and also take this time to talk to you. And I do appreciate, I did get your permission, beforehand, because I wanted to talk to you about this. I left on April 9th of last year. And I had I was cleaning out my storage, and Rhonda came and got a bunch of stuff that I was like, just take it. I was like, I don't want to just have stuff that I'm keeping in storage, and I don't know when I'm coming back. Right. And I remember I was on the phone. We got on the phone with Rashawn, because I had like wig stands and stuff. And I was like, Rashawn, you want these? And she's like, oh yes, thank you.
People who don't know, that's my daughter.
Yeah, Rashawn. I'm sorry, Rashawn is Rhonda's daughter. And a week after I left, Rashawn passed away.
Sure did. That was my last family member in the household. I had lost everybody else. My husband in 2016, my son in 2020, and then Rashawn passed right after you left.
Yeah.
And it was devastating, because you didn't know what to do. You had just left, and you were like, I can't come back. And I know it was devastating, for you to be that far away.
Yeah. And what was crazy was, because when she called me, Kayla and I were actually on a train headed to the airport in Madrid to go to Lisbon for a week. It was just her and I. And so you're calling me to tell me that Rashawn had passed, and you were worried about me. You were like, because I was like, and she's like, you okay? I'm like, why are you asking me if I'm okay? What?
Yes.
So Rashawn had sickle cell.
Yes.
And she had experienced deterioration over the years and the crisis, and that had just taken over, just ravaged her body over the years.
Right. Yeah. She ended up with thrombosis, which is all of her veins were just kind of clogged. And she that was like over 90% of her body. So that started affecting all of her organs.
Yeah.
That's ultimately, what happened. All her organs just started shutting down. Although she left us here, I guess grieving, as you could say, grieving. She was ready. She knew what was coming. She was ready. And I feel like she's in a good place, and
Yeah.
that she will want us to be in a good place. So that's what we're working toward.
So I was lucky enough that the summer before I was on a pet sit in Houston, and the sickle cell, it's called the Warriors. They had like a big convention,
right,
in Houston, and it was in the Galleria area, and so it was close to where my pet sit was. So I had already talked to the homeowner and let them know, it was like my niece is going to come, and which they were absolutely fine with. So she came. It was a really nice apartment close by the event. And anyway, she came and she hung out for a couple of days. I didn't see her for the first 2 days because they were out. The Warriors were out partying. Okay, yes. They were having a good time.
Yes, and she was very, very popular in that segment. She was very popular.
Yes, she was amazing. But that Sunday before she left, we went out and did Sunday Fun Day, and that was really awesome because we went to, I forgot the name of the restaurant, but we went to this restaurant and they had the Sunday Fun Day. So then you go across and they had like the bar where they have like the DJ, and just having a good time, and we just let loose. It was amazing fun.
Okay, one of those places you guys went to, they had like a was it a live singer or something? Because she did a video of some guy singing to her.
Yes, what is the place? It's called 5 Central. That's where it was. I think it's called 5 Central. But there was dancing. They had a DJ. They had a guy that was singing, because she got up and she grabbed the mic and started singing. So
she enjoyed that. She really did.
Yes, that was a very special, just her and I just hanging out and having a good time, and I will never forget that. I still have, and but for me, and I wanted to share this also because when people move, people within the community that I belong to that are moving to other parts of the world, it's not easy to get back, for you go through that. You don't see people that are, giving birth. Your friends are having babies. You have family that are going through or experiencing different life events, whether it's big anniversaries, big birthdays, our younger kids having kids, the young adults having kids, and generations are growing, and death. Yeah. And we can't be there for it the way we would like to. And I appreciate it so much that you were like, girl, we okay. We're going to be okay. In some weird way, you were comforting me more than I felt like I was comforting you. But you let me know also that I understand that you can't be here at this crucial time in your, in your life. And what advice, I don't even know if you can give to maybe experiencing loss and not having the people that you really feel like you need most around you that can't be there for you?
Well, the first thing I'm gonna say is lean on God. But secondly, you have to try to recognize your entire support system. Some people you tend to lean on more, and at times like that, that's the people that you wanna go to. But if they are not available, you have to recognize that you have a larger support system, and you have to utilize your entire support system. And like with you, it was through a distance, but I was still able to have contact with you to talk me through things.
Yeah.
But in the physical, I had, this person here to give me a hug, or this person here to make me a plate, or, I had to use my entire support system to get through. So that's what advice I would give, is to recognize who all of your support system is, even if they don't offer you everything you need. You got different people in your lives that can offer you different things.
My way of, giving support was, of course, communication. Thank goodness for our technology now.
Right.
And also, I know that you have been through a lot, and I said that there's only so much I can do, but I said, when you are ready to come to visit, however I can assist to make sure that that happens, I was like, we're going to make that happen. Because I just wanted you to just get away. Like when you did the trip to, Galveston. Yeah. It was like, I just wanted you to get away and just stop and just be. I just wanted you just to be able to relax and be. And I don't know how another way to do it sometimes than just to bring you out and just like put you in another situation.
Perfectly worked out both times. Perfectly worked out. And I remember when I got to you in Spain, man, we must have hugged each other for a good 5 minutes straight.
Yes. Yeah. She's my strength. And it's so funny. I ain't never been married. Okay. I ain't never been married. Don't, and I'm good and stuff, but I have my life sisters, baby. You can't tell me nothing. Okay.
We had that joke a while back where I should have married you.
Yes.
I don't know how I ended up in the family the way I did, but I married the wrong
Neither one of us are ready to jump that fence.
Man, that's a joke, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's in this whole reality of not being in the same country, but overall for me, I'm like, know the love and appreciate and value now this relationship, because God forbid when I close my eyes, where I am is where I am, period. So y'all I don't need nobody flying across the country or trying to send me back home and all this stuff. You knew me well. Okay. You knew my personality. You knew what I wanted. Don't bring me back to the US. Let me blow in the wind off some coast or something, or in some forest somewhere. It'd be good. Yeah, and then have a cocktail, have an old fashioned or a Manhattan, and think of me. Okay. And if you really know me, Houston folks, if you really know me, you have that other cocktail, and I ain't gonna age myself that bad, but
It's been such a wonderful journey with you, watching you, learning from you, and this is a whole different journey you're teaching.
I'm happy, we are here for each other. We are each other's cheerleaders. We are, forever. We are forever bonded. Yeah. And I love growing with you and having you in my life every single day. It's like, man. Well, this has been.
We always cry babies together. I don't know why.
Yeah. Okay. And one of the things I had mentioned in one of my lives, I just kind of talked about Rashawn during I don't know if it was recording or whatever, but I was saying that I have yet to actually cry about her passing. I don't think I've sat in silence because I knew that she was ready, and I knew it was definitely leaving.
That's not something she wanted. I mean, just like you. Like you just said about what you wanted, she didn't want that.
Yeah. And stuff, and the impact that she left with the rest of her community, with the warriors in her community, and the tributes that they paid to her,
and still pay to her.
Yeah. Wow. Yes. Yeah. I really did just forget what I was just saying. Oh God. Okay. It'll come back to me.
We were talking about her community.
Okay. I remember now, girl. Okay. I was just saying that basically that no, I have not cried yet. That's what I was coming down to. I have not cried yet, and I don't know. This is I haven't had the full breakdown crying yet, but I think that the reason why I have not is because I knew that she was ready. Mm-hmm. And that she had made peace, and she had actually talked to her community about being ready, and knowing that this, because she had already lost so many people that had sickle cell within her community.
Right. And then maybe about a month, 2 months at the most prior to her leaving, she had posted a poem that she written on her page. What is it, Miss Scully, on Instagram. she posted a poem about death on there, and you can clearly hear in that poem that she was ready and she was not afraid.
Rhonda, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you taking the
Thank
time
you.
and working with me through all the challenges to get this recording done.
It's always
So,
worth it with you, sis.
girl, we be having some challenges. We go through it to get to it, baby. Okay. Well, people, this is actually going to be posting about the anniversary, the 1 year anniversary of Sean's passing. So I wanted to dedicate this episode to Rashawn and just send all the love, and just know that, hug your family, love your family, respect your family. Okay, y'all take care.
But I still live my life because I know those that have already gone on will want it this way. That I leave behind something for the world to remember me by.